Hi guys, how are you? I hope you and your family are all good in this COVID times. So as promised, we are back with a new video. And this video is a continuation in the data science series. It is about the lists in Python. And this video has to be split because lists is a big topic, a little bit of tricky topic. So to make the concepts clear and move ahead very smoothly, I have divided this video into two parts. So today we'll be working on the first part, and if you want to look at how to open up Jupyter, how to install Anaconda, and all the video links are given in the description below. So before just wasting any more time, I will jump directly into the video. But before we go there, guys, please subscribe, please like, comment, and share the video as much as you can. Please do subscribe. So yeah, till this time we have been understanding like how to assign values into variables. So it's like be an integer variable. I press Control Enter, and then maybe go below and try to print A, and then see it gives you the output of 2. Now again, if I just go ahead and assign a value that is a string, suppose, so I write deatail there, and that's it, and I press Control Enter, then I go back again and press it, it goes and gives you the deatail value. Now the thing here is, what happens if you want to store multiple values? So if you remember in our previous video, we had went through variables and data types. So in that case, if you would try and remember that we had like string type of values, that is text, that we have here right now. We have decimal kind of values, we have complex numbers, we have integers. Now what happens if you want to store all of them together into one thing? That is called the lists. So imagine lists as a approach to go ahead for multitude of data dimensions, and this is basically your primary concept for that. So take the lists a little bit seriously, and I would request you please practice. So without wasting any further time, let us understand what is a list basically. How do I define it? So suppose I want to write a equal to, and as you know, the operator equal to gives you how to assign a value here. So I'll just use square brackets the moment you give it. Now I will just write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is basically a list of 5 different values, all of them being integer, and they have been put into A. So as they are integers, I am not used anything else apart from this, and I'm not using any apostrophe commas or inverted commas here. So let it be. Now if I go ahead and press Control Enter, and see, it has already assigned the values there, and if I press this, it gives you the values in the list. You can also again go ahead and write print and then A. This will again give you the same result. Now, being said that, what else can I store in a list? There can be a lingering question here that whether I can store an integer, a float variable, basically a decimal value, and a string all together in one list. The answer is yes. So let me show it to you. So that will, I'll just insert a few cells here. So suppose I make a list A equal to, then a square bracket, just as I said. So first one is A, then comma, then suppose I store 2.5, then comma, and I write the branch. That's it. So now I press Enter. This is run. I'll go ahead and print it. So you see, in either of the cases, it's actually storing the values in it, and there is no doubt that you can just go ahead and check the type of the variable here. So I'll just type A, and it gives you the list type of data type. So basically A is a data type which is called as list. This is why I told you like list will be a bigger one, a tricky one. Now we are successful in assigning the values like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe a 1, 2.5, then deatail, like this and that. Now how do I access the values of the list? So that will be a little tricky, and this time we are going to go ahead and create other lists. So let us consider it in this way, that suppose I want to get one particular value from a list. Okay, now let us consider A which has A1, 2.5 and the branch. So suppose I want to get the middle value. So mark this word very, very carefully and remember this, that the list has indexing in Python with 0. The index numbers use 0. So the first element here is 0, then it is 1, then it is 2. Let me show it to you. How do you access one element? So I will just write A, then I will use the square bracket. And square bracket, if I write 0 and I press Ctrl Enter, it will give you the first value of the list, that is 1. Now if you want to see the second value, obviously it is just 1. So it gives you the second value. Now there can be a list which is actually pretty long. So suppose I write here 6.7, then comma 5.5. No, sorry, it's 5.5. And then suppose again I write data. And then I press this and I press this. So there can be a list. Basically, you can be storing a multiple values into one particular list. How do you know which is the last one? You cannot remember the the counts of all the values there in the list. So it might be the case that you want to look at the first 3 values. How do I do it? You can always use the colon operator. This works like this. So suppose I press A and then the square bracket, then I will just give the starting place from where you want to look. So 0 is my starting place, and then I will see colon, and then how many values do you want to see? I want to see the first 3 values. So I will write 3. Why? Because 3 gives you till which position it is. So it is like right now the list is 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. There are 5 indexes, but when you press 3 here, it is exclusive of that element. That's why I am putting 3 here. Now let us see what it returns. So see the first 3 values, 1, 2.5 and Debraj. So these are the first 3 values. As easily understood that if you put 3 here, the first one is included. The second one which you are giving after the colon is basically excluded. Great. Now that we know how to access, one value, one particular value, or set of values from a list, what about if I want to access the last value in the list? In that case, we'll use -1. So if you look at from the right side, it's -1, -2 and so on. So A, then I write -1. And see, the last value on the list was Datta, and it picked up the last value, and it is Datta. Now if you want to see the second last value, just do -2 and it gives you 5.5, which was the last value in the list, second last value in the list. Pardon me for that. Now, there are multiple functions in Python for the list. Now, before we move on to those functions, let us do 1 or 2 other tricks. That suppose you are saying like, okay, this was the list there previously, 1, 2.5 and Debraj, and then we wanted to insert one more thing and we had to create the entire thing. No. If you want to insert some more values into it, you can always use a function that is called append. But we'll jump into the functions later. For now, let me show you a complex list. I'll insert some cells below and let us go here. And the first one, so say, now I'm going to create list of lists. So let me create the variable name as LOL. LOL. It relates, right? It's funny, but let it be for now. It's list of list. And now I use this one and I go ahead and create my first list. So suppose my first list is 1, 2, 3. And then I put a comma. Then I create my second list. What is the second list? So it's Debraj. Then I'll put a comma. Then again DUTTA. Then I'll put a comma. Then suppose I want to write Mumbai. Okay. So these are 2 lists. Now, as you are creating a list of lists, that's why we need to enclose this as well into a square bracket. So, just a recommendation, like when you're watching this video, please keep practicing in a tab opened here. Just don't look at the video. Please try practicing parallelly, or you can, in free time, go ahead and practice with the dataset. I'll be providing multiple free datasets available to me, and I will just share them in the drive links, which can be easily downloaded and you can use it. So let us just press Ctrl Enter and see my list is created. Now when I just write LOL and press Ctrl Enter, it will display both the lists. See, first list was 1, 2, 3, then the second list is Devraj, Datta and Mumbai. Alright, now what do I do with it? As we have created some, let us go ahead and insert few more cells. Okay, now the first thing I would like to see here is if you want to see the data type. So type and then say LOL, it gives you list. I'm not here to look at the type, so check it out. Now I want to see the first list. What do I do? Just like the previous list, which was A, which has multiple values, and what did you do for it? So suppose I want to see the first list. The first list in this list of lists is in the first position. So that is your 0th position. So what do I write? It is LOL and then the square bracket, and in the 0th position is my first list 1, 2 and 3. So I'll write 0 and I'll press enter and it gives you the first list. How do I get the second list then? So it's pretty easy. Again, Devraj, Datta, Mumbai. Now, things can get a little trickier when you are trying to say that, okay, I want to see only the, okay, let's say this is my list. So list of lists rather. So 1, 2 and 3 in the first one, Devraj, Datta, Mumbai in the second one. So I want to see 2 to be displayed from the first list. How do I do it? You can do it pretty easily. Just jump up the function. So suppose I write like this, lol, then 0, the first list. In the first list, I want to look at the second element. Second element is basically how much? 2 minus 1, that is 1. So write 1 and press enter. So it gives you lol's first list's second element, and that is this. So that being said, you are able to access anything from this list. How do I get the last element of the first list? Minus 1. If you are missing it, just rewind back and look at this video part again. So if I want to just see, suppose Datta or Mumbai. So let's just say I'll write the second list first. That's why I'm using the index 1, and I want to see Mumbai. So this is it, the last element from the second list. Or minus 2. And again, if I want to see the second element, it's just like this, and again Datta. So see, this is a pretty easy way to work around. I would recommend you to play around with this list as much as possible, and this will help you understand how to, play around with the data. See, the way you are accessing these lists, and this will help you. Why you might be asking the question like, why do I require to enter 3 values in a list and then use it? Just multiply this one row of value with multiple rows. That gives you a tabular format of data. So working around with lists will help you access the data, play around with data, and that those things are pretty complex. These things are pretty easy right now. So understand this, practice this as much as you can. You have any questions, comment it below. And now we'll move on to the functions. Before we go on to the functions, guys, please do subscribe, comment, and share all the questions. Please like and share this video as much as you can. So next thing is comment. I'll move on here and here. We'll add a few more cells and let us look at the functions. Now, I do have a question for you. How do I go ahead and access the functions? So I write A, then I write dot, then I press tab. If you remember, we get the list of all the functions here available to this list. So as promised, I'll just show you one of the functions like append. So what do you want to append? A is the list above, right? So this is the list. It already has 1, 2.5, Devraj 6.57, 5.5, then Datta. Now I want to add Mumbai. So I'll just open up the bracket. You're not sure what to write in, how to write in. So press Shift Tab. This gives you the example. And append object to the end of the list. Good. Let us try out this MUMBAI and press Ctrl Enter. It's done. Now let us check whether it has been appended. See, our original list had values from 1, 2.5 Devraj Datta till Datta. Now it also has Mumbai. Okay. So let us say, now that we are able to append things into the list, what do we do if we want to try one more function? So suppose A, then what is the other function? I don't remember the functions. what do? Press full stop and then tab. Okay, there are multiple functions, and suppose I want to use pop. Let us go ahead. You can always short the things as well as reverse it. So whatever you used to do. I also don't know. So maybe I'll just go here and then say this one, and I press shift tab. So pop equal to index -1. So gives you, so suppose if you are whatever value you are giving here, if you are not giving a value here, it will by default take -1. -1 gives you the last value of the list. So if you just say pop and you press enter, it will delete off Mumbai. Okay, and now you want to check. See, Mumbai is removed, which it popped out. It also said that. Now, this is not the only thing. You can always go ahead and try to pop out one particular value. So suppose, okay, I'll just write this, and I want to remove 2.5. 2.5 is at index position 1. The second element is always at the -1 position. So it's basically, I'll write 1, and it popped out 2.5. Now see, if I just want to display this, it is 1, then it skips this value because it's been popped out, and it's Devraj, then 6.7, 5.5, and Datta. So these are basically some on and all functions. I would request you, please go ahead, don't be afraid. Guys, never be afraid of hitting Control Enter, Shift Enter or anything computer. It's all in the virtual world. So anything error pops up, don't hesitate to play around with it. If you are unable to solve the error, I'm always there. I'm always available to you. Just comment it below. I'll get back with an answer. So don't worry about these things. Play around. So let us just make a mistake on purpose. So how do I do? Let me say I want to create index. So I don't know what to do. Okay, a.index value. So it gives us the first, returns first index of the value. Okay, so suppose it is a list, right? So, and you write a value, suppose 6.7. It might be the case that the list have multiple values which say 6.7. In this case, we have only one. If the case is that like 6.7 has been there multiple times, it will always return the first occurrence, first index position where 6.7 has been hit. So 6.7, I don't know whether to put an inverted comma or not. I'm just trying it. I'm trying to make an error. Okay, it gave me anyways. So index position 0, 1, 2. So we have the value here. So I would request you to, try out all the other functions if you want. And if you need a detailed video on all the functions of a list, I will go ahead and create it. So just press tab if you want to practice it on your own, or else just comment it below. I'll come back with a new video. Guys, practice this as much as you can, because in the next video, we are going to work up with some more complex things in the list. And till that time, I request you subscribe, like, share, comment, and play around with the video as much as you can, and take care of yourself and your family. Tata, bye bye, sayonara.